Good evening. This is the Awesome Dude 94. We will be using this channel today under the name The Majestic Blair in my video series called Information's Occult. Now, I haven't made a video in a very long time, but there's a purpose that I am doing this video here and now, which is to get the attention of my hermetic teacher, Frater Xavior, who does the YouTube channel MindandMagick. Now, me as an arcanist who's obsessed with all things occult, there are things that nobody ever talks about. These things are the things that matter most to me in witchcraft world, because there are some people out there, unlike me, who are unable to take the necessary steps to protect themselves. This video is going to cover the 72 groetic demons, and the information preceding it indicating that all of them are actually pagan gods of old. This video is going to cover what's believed that their god names versus their demonic names, and how each of these individualized spirits do indeed have 72 names and faces. Those 72 names and faces are also 72 different personalities, and those 72 personalities indicate how they interact with humanity. So we're going to do a live conversation here to get back to point on what originally brought this video. Without further ado, we're going to light a bowl and get into it. Well, we were talking about Baal originally, right?
Yeah, yes, I believe so.
In the Bible, Baal is what the people thought was a cow, right?
I believe so.
Okay, right. So this was brought on to us because as a kid, I had dreams of what I can only be described as, if you guys have ever played the video game Devil May Cry 4, the demon known as the Phantom. There's a tarantula-like spider with a raspy voice. Looked like it was made out of volcanic lava and rock. And we were talking about symptoms of psychosis, and how in reality that there might not actually be any such thing as schizophrenia. I believe it's a cop-out to what doctors use for things that they can't understand. It's come to my attention that many symptoms of psychosis that are like this, in my opinion, my professional arcane opinion, is believed that it's actually just a person's brain chemistry completely in reverse. Those who would be diagnosed with schizophrenia is to say that their subconscious minds are actually operating as their conscious minds, and their conscious minds are operating as their subconscious minds. I'm telling you all of this because you might not get the purpose of this video unless I throw that in there. So anyway, as a kid, we all know I'm a hereditary witch. As a kid, I was haunted by a being that had a raspy voice and appeared to me as a tarantula-like ghost with characteristics looking like hot lava and made out of volcanic rock.
I'm sorry.
I don't exactly remember all the things that it would say to me when it was haunting me, but I do remember my name being called often in public. And so this is how we got onto the demonology topic, because a friend of mine said there are many demons that manifest as spiders, but see, so do many gods. Many gods that manifest as spiders are considered weaver deities, controllers of fate, right? And it was just brought to my attention that, of course, demonic activity is going to use seeds of fear, is going to use imagery of fear. But why? If all spirits in the end are a manifestation of said divinity, then at this point there is no holiness and no evil. There's only subtlety and validity. It's the manner of which the lesson is being taught to you. And a demonic lesson is going to be like, you're going to take it like the little bitch that you are, versus like an angelic message is going to be like, it's okay. We're going to ease you into this. We're going to make sure you understand what you're going through. But see, I've never actually had a demonic encounter. I've had many paranormal encounters before. I've gotten into a fight with a poltergeist before. I've seen a hellhound before. I've come into contact with many forms of ghosts before. But I have nothing of reference to indicate whether my theories here are correct or not. And I have to believe that I'm correct on some level, because nothing is inherently good and nothing is inherently evil. You call upon the name Baphomet, which is the androgynous spirit of neutrality, then you're going to get whatever you ask for. So is it really the forces that exist outside of us that are truly evil, or is it our intentions? Is it the energy that we project from within our hearts that indicates whether ultimately we get attacked, lose our minds, or what. Because honestly, with the universe shaping me into the representative, the emissary of the moon that I've become today, I've lost my mind and my ego, my identity well over 6 times. There's no demonic activity needed for something like that. So what is the basis here? Are these, because the word angel is derived from Latin, which is to mean messenger, and the word demon is derived from Latin daemon, which means rebel. It doesn't mean Holy Spirit and evil spirit. What are we missing here? Right? And all these spirits that come to us in the form of various animals. Angels can do the same things that demons can. Gods can do the same things that devils can. The only thing that changes is the names that we give them, the titles that we attribute it to how they manifest before us. Which is always imagery. It always appears to sight, right? Never the mind. Why? What are we missing here? I have all of the 72 groetic demons. Also, 72 is the name is the number attributed to the Tetragrammatron, which is attributed to the names and faces of God. Now, if God and Goddess are both one and the same, and you have the top of the tree of life and the bottom of the tree of life, you have God and you have Goddess, you have conscious mind, you have subconscious mind. There is something we're missing. There is something that our teachers and that the people above our rank and grade are not telling us. Things that are important for us to know. Because a teacher, a guide, a master, and a mentor, they have no right to tell you what you're ready to know. Most especially if you've been suffering symptoms that indicate that you're not as crazy as people believe you are to begin with. There are phenomena happening to people like us all over the world, and it's our responsibility to, instead of cower before these phenomena like little bitches, it's our responsibility to answer our own goddamn questions. What is the true significance behind these names? What is the true meaning behind these personalities? Why are they being demonized? Is there a reason for it? Is there a purpose for it? And if they are, like they've been said and suggested to believe, originally all ancient pagan gods, does that mean that calling their original name gives you the polar opposite effect as calling their demonic name? Right? I watched a video on Groetic Sciences a while back. Revealed to me that in one of the Groetic names, one of the 72 demons of the Book of Solomon, Astaroth, is actually the star goddess Astarte, the original manifestation of the divine feminine. Does that mean that if you call it Astarte, you get the goddess? Does that mean if you call the name Astaroth, you get the demon? If they're both one and the same being, how does calling 2 different names give you 2 different reactions? Right? These questions have to be asked. Because if then, what are we doing? What great work are we attributing to? What names are we really calling? What forces do we really command if we don't know any of these things? Each symptom you have is going to leave you with a message. Each message is going to be a cipher for you to decode. And each decoding is going to leave you with more questions than it does answers. Break. Me, being a celestially incarnate fox spirit, experiencing human life, there are many and multitudes of cultures around the planet that would call me demonic. Fox spirits are not considered good on Earth. Fox spirits are considered trickster gods. Most of my kind is revered as demonic. Am I? No. So the same questions need to be asked for these ethereal spirits that people are working with. This demonology thing that seems to be a new fad and a new trade in the occult world is kind of worrying me. It's concerning me. And I don't know enough to really start pointing fingers and acting like a prejudiced bigot. So the only thing left to do is what we're doing here and now. We're inquiring information. We're asking questions. We're following the paper trail. And that's the only way we're going to figure this shit out. To any of you guys that haven't gotten to my point, you're jumping straight into the books, you're lighting the candles, you're all idiots. You have no idea what you're calling upon. And these things are very, very important. When my life was first changed, when the goddess first called to me, when I became an emissary of the moon, I was studying books for months. It was maybe 6 months before I attempted my first spell. You always need to have your benefits and your consequences on the same chessboard. You need to be aware of what happens when you knock one domino down. A lot of people are like, no, that's manipulation. No, it's not. It's being prepared. The fact that not every person around you is as prepared as you are doesn't make you a manipulator. It doesn't. Just because they want to play follow the leader, anybody's going to follow something or somebody with an aspect of mystery to them. That's not you manipulating them. That's not you seducing them. That's human nature. You're going to follow that mysterious thing because it's not of logical or of realitable nature. Whoa, what is that? Whoa, it's so mesmerizing. Let me rip it apart. I need to figure it out. That's just human nature. Same thing with sex. You reveal a little skin, come off as something that's a little bit more interesting than what you actually are. You're straight, basic, and to the point. Guess what? You just got laid. It's the element of mystery. It's human nature to want to rip that apart. So, with that being said, you have to always answer your questions. Now, I don't have much to talk about after this. I'm trying to get the attention of my teacher, my hermetic teacher, even though I'm a Hellenic witch. Frater Xavior is very good at parapsychology and about reviewing the mind in a more divine way than the typical and mystical type witch is going to do. See, witches, I believe they have good knowledge with magic, and they have good projections on how to manifest that magic. And I will admit, a lot of Frater Xavier's teachings do not help me when it comes to practicing magic, but his teachings do help me to map the mind and the universe that I have found myself living in. His scientific approach to arcane material is fascinating in many ways, and because he practices the groetic himself, I think it's about time those of us that are trying to inquiring some serious fucking questions actually get some goddamn answers. Because the universe, even if you're not a witch, the universe is moving in a way where our consciousnesses are not going to stay the same. Those of us that started this path and these lives for the reasons that we have, we're not going to be satisfied until we have real knowledge. We've learned how to map the mind. We've learned how to communicate with spirits. Now we need to know the whys. We need to have the rest of the blanks that were never filled out to be filled. And for the questions that I'm starting to ask, and that many people after me will probably rise and ask, these are not going to be questions that you're going to find in the library. You try to pick up any of Crowley's books, you need a serious education of at least 25 years to so much as figure out his shit. Because once you think you understand Crowley, you don't. You go and read his book again, you're going to realize you mistranslated it somewhere. And the same thing goes for all the Armadales and all the grimoires. They're not designed to be read. They're designed to be ripped apart and decoded. And the way that the universe is moving, we might not have time for people like me to just scholar our entire lives away trying to figure out one big fucking secret. Too much is at stake. And if the gods are going to call individuals like us to do the great work, we need to know exactly what the fuck the great work even is. We need to know what we're calling upon. So anybody interested in these subjects, I hope I've raised a couple of eyebrows tonight. I hope all of you are asking questions as well. Always remember, if you're a person in a position like me, or a position like Frater, just because you're a teacher does not mean you have all the answers, which is why each teacher goes to another teacher. Every teacher is forever the student, and the student forever the teacher. This is Blair Mystic Fox signing off, saying, blessed be.